Happy Halloween, you sick fucks. Okay. And we're live. Holy shit. Just watching. Our viewers just went up a little bit. And at the last second. Yeah, what's going down, everybody? Happy Friday. Happy Halloween. As you can see, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on here. We'll get into it. A bunch of stuff not going on here. Whatever. I'm Styles the Prophet.
And I'm Jonesy.
And with B Show, we're the Basement Weirdos and the 4G Audio Podcast.
We got no B Show here tonight.
Yeah,
I guess he sends his love.
Gang. I guess I could actually turn this down. First of all. Second of all, I guess I could like sit over here.
Center yourself. Get into the Zen zone.
I just noticed on the screen it didn't look the greatest. So I might actually just do this. Oh. Wonder if I could lift it up a little bit.
There you go.
So then, there we go. Test. Hi.
Loud and clear.
Okay, there we go. So anyways, yeah, no, I figured that looks a little bit better. Put this over here, though.
Rest in peace.
Shout out to Twigs for all the fucking decorations. I was going to say the ornaments. I don't know if you'd call this a Halloween ornament.
Touch the skull.
Yeah. So my buddy just bought a watch. Sorry, he just texted me and I saw his name there. It made me think he bought a really nice watch. It's got all kinds of like diamonds or whatever the fuck in it.
Is it a Rolly?
No, it's a Beluva or whatever. Or Belovia or whatever. I don't know what the fuck how to say it. It's Russian or something.
Okay.
I don't think it's Russian, but but anyway, so no, it's all diamonds and shit. And I was saying to everybody outside that he's not that type of guy to rock that type of shit. I don't mean any offense by that. He would say the same thing. You can't rock that with camo and shit. So I was like, I think I'm getting a watch in the next couple weeks.
You're just going to get the handy down?
Yeah, it might take a year now that I've said that. And he'll be like, I'm not giving it to you. I'll buy it. Don't worry. I'll give you money for it. But he just happened to be at a jewelry store and for other reasons. And that's what happened.
I feel the same though. Like I probably would get I'd like to have a nice watch, but like I work in landscaping, so I would never get to wear it. Like,
yeah.
Like a special occasion watch.
Well, and even too, like I have a couple watches, but I just feel like I can't wear them casually.
Yeah.
Because I'm not like, because anything else I'm wearing doesn't really like require a watch or like accent a watch.
I mean, you could like that's the thing about a watch, right? You could just
that
with anything.
Yeah, that is it. But
like,
well, no, but it's I guess the other thing too is okay. So I have one that's like it's just like stainless steel and it's got like a white face, I think. So it's like a pretty basic watch. That one you can just throw on and wear with anything. But the other one is like it's the one that has like the fucking diamonds around the bezel, and it's just like kind of like gaudy sort of, or like
a little too flashy.
So it's like you need something else. You need something else with it to show that,
to balance
like
it.
Yeah, it's like, you know, you're just like sweater and jeans and then you're just like bing and it's like, you know, you don't even have like a necklace or anything, like whatever. But even then, if you're like doing that, then you're just like accessories, right? You're just like plain t-shirt and jeans and then just like diamonds everywhere. I don't know, I just feel like that specifically is like a fucking, it's like a nighttime thing or like a dinner party or whatever.
Yeah, sure. special
but
events.
Or even to my other watches, like it's nothing fancy, it's a very very like small and like subtle, but it's like stainless steel or silver or something too, but it's dark blue face, but it's just like eloquent or something, or elegant. Yeah, like it's like
elegant is the right word.
Yeah. It's like you would wear it like for like casual wear, like you might wear that Like, they're the most casual that you would wear that is like at the country club, you know, like golfing or something. But like normally it's like a suit thing, right? So it's like can't really just roll around where, I mean, no one would notice it. They'd just be like, it's a watch. But I just think a lot into it, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, fuck, man. Like,
but
I'd want to get like the Apple Watch too. I've even thought about getting like an Apple Watch or something.
Have you
like,
seen the ones you can get?
Because I'm like, I would never be able to wear it. I'd be.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Any watch,
yeah.
It just doesn't work.
Yeah. No, I thought you were gonna say you'd rather a fucking Apple Watch. I was gonna say like they have cool ones.
Oh man,
like
the amount of stuff you can do with it is cool. So if I was gonna spend a bunch of money on a watch, I probably would go with an Apple Watch over some fucking.
Well, like Michael Kors makes them and shit too. Like, well, they make like a band that it sets in, and it's sort of be like gold and like all cool and shit.
Yeah.
Michael Kors actually makes an Android smartwatch as well, like, but it's actually like the watch is made by them as well.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's cool.
But the other companies will make things you can put your Apple Watch into or whatever. Speaking of that though, my buddy has these fucking shoes and they sync up to your iPhone and they tell you every detail of like what you do,
like your steps and shit, or
how high your foot is off the ground, like your angle when your foot hits the ground, your angle when your foot leaves the ground, like every little bit of information you could ever imagine is on there. Like, it's like how long your fucking toenails are and shit.
Yeah.
Like everything. So it'd be like
why would you need to know all that information?
Actually, you know what's crazy though is like whenever he's telling me about it, I'm like that actually seems kind of cool. Like, because he's like it tells you stuff too. Like, it'll talk to you in your headphones. So it'll be like, oh, like you're fucking on pace for like 2 minutes faster than last time or whatever, right? So it's like telling you like keep going and shit, right? But then it'll tell you like lift your feet more or whatever, you're getting tired and shit like that. So it warns you or whatever. So like that's cool too. But I mean, at the same time too, unless you're actually running for a career or whatever, or like
just like
for sport or whatever,
right,
it doesn't have to be a career.
Man, there's so many people that just jog because it's a fun thing to do. I personally, I look at those people. I'm like what? How do you motivate yourself? Like I literally have to drag myself out of bed at 4 o'clock in the morning to get to work, and I'm seeing these people jogging down the street at like 5 a.m.
Yeah, you're like, stop it.
What are you doing?
Yeah, it's not that great. No, for sure though. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I go out for a walk and I'm like, man, I feel good or whatever, right? So I can get the addiction to it, but I know what you mean. Like, but no. So this guy's not even really like. If you saw me, you'd be like, he doesn't run. He's probably like, not that he's
poser runner.
No, but I just mean like he doesn't look like the kind of guy that's like athletic,
right?
You know, like I'm not saying he's a big guy. He's actually really like small dude, but I just mean that he's like, you'd look at him, he'd be wearing his camo or something, and you'd be like, I don't think he goes out on a 5K run every day and then tries to like beat his time and stuff, right? So, but point is he's not really like that, but he's doing it, and so he's not that into it. He just accepts the stats. But
I think it'd be like a novelty thing. It'd be really cool to see that for like a little bit.
Well, see, but like no,
like, I don't care anymore.
Well, and that, I guess that's what I'm saying is like he doesn't care, like he doesn't focus on the shit, but he's like neat, it does it. But like I could see how it would matter if you were like an Olympic runner.
Yeah,
to, like,
for sure.
You know, like you'd be like, oh, my angle's wrong and like shit like that, like whatever. But again, you'd have to like really. And the other thing too is I will mention too, he didn't go and spend a whole bunch of money. It was on some like super sale. It was like a half off thing, and it was like $40 or $60 for these shoes or something. So he didn't go out of his way to buy like $200 shoes or something,
right.
like so he could do it.
Teachers now.
But yeah, no, it's just whatever you're talking about. The Apple Watch is like, oh, they do this shit. I remember too. My friend had a pair of shoes like a while ago, like 5-10 years ago, but they. Same thing basically.
It lit up from the back when you walked out.
Yeah.
Those are pretty cool.
The wheels in the back. No. But it had like a chip, so you'd get this app. It was a Nike app or whatever, and then you get the app and then you have a chip that you actually like have to put into the bottom of your shoe, and you put it in both of them or whatever. But this one is like I think Under Armour or something, and it comes like right in the shoe. Either way, we're not selling shoes, but no, it was cool because it actually has all that fucking shit like right into it. I was like, that's pretty cool. Even like myself, I look at my health app and I'm like, cool, like 10,000 steps. Like I don't even know what that means. Like, they're like, you were walking for 29 minutes. I'm like, what is that on the grand scheme of things? You know what I mean? Like, how do I add that up to the rest of the world? They're like, even, you know, like, what should I be doing?
I mean, I guess if you're...
What is the right angle?
What is the right angle? The right angle. But yeah, I mean, like I say, if you're, like...
That's what you do.
Trying to, like, beat your steps every day. Like, because it's, like, almost gamified, right? Like,
yeah.
So it's like, oh, I got this amount this day. Let's see if I can beat that the next day. Oh, and it, like, motivates you to, like... And apparently motivates you to, like...
Well, and I'm actually...
want to beat it and, like, actually, like...
I'm glad they have it, because... So I had a Samsung Health thing on my old phone, and, like, the only thing I used it for was there was a sensor on the back of the phone, and it was, like, I don't know what the fuck, like, infrared shit. Like, it was, like, a red laser thing that came out, and you put your finger on the phone, and it would... or you put your finger on the laser, and it would get your fucking heart rate.
Your biometrics?
No, it was your heart rate. So the fucking the other thing was on the actual like front button on it. But no, this thing, so you go into the health and you hit the thing, but it would tell you like your steps and like stupid shit. You could write down all the food you ate and stuff. But my point is I never really paid attention to it. Like I'd go in there, check my heart rate and stuff, and just be like, but like just for fun. Yeah. But then I fucking whenever I got this phone, like literally, man, it wasn't until like maybe like a year after I had owned the phone, I got like a warning, and it's like, hey, like 10,000 steps or whatever, right? I mean, it's not to say I didn't do 10,000 steps any other day. I'm sure I did, but it never came up as a notification or anything, right? So I got it and I was like, oh no, it might have been more. I think that's what it was. It was like a lot. And but either way, whatever it was, I changed it to 10. I was like, whatever, let's try and do 10,000, whatever, right? So then it'll tell you, oh, you did 10,000 today. I'm like, yeah, actually on the new vlog, the fucking I have it in my possession. I just haven't posted it because I was gonna make a trailer so everyone can know about it and fucking want to watch it before it comes. But
just gotta talk about it and then just drop it.
Exactly, yeah. But in the one video, Buddy was showing me. He sent me like a clip of like, see, look, I'm working on this video or whatever, right? And there's this one clip where I'm showing the fucking my phone to Bully Zone, and I go like this, and I show it to him, like. Throw the phone down. I'm like, yeah. And it was our first night in BC. And so I was thinking in my head, I'm like, what could it be? Like, was I like, did I just make some kind of connection? Or like, you know, like, was I showing them that I got someone's phone number outside? Was I showing them that, like, you know, I linked with some chick on like whatever the fuck, you know? Yeah. I don't know. Like, what was it?
Drunk at the time? Like,
for sure I was hammered, yeah.
So that's why you don't remember what you were doing?
No, but here's the thing is I was like, I don't remember. And the funny thing is the guy, Dan, said to me, I said, man, I'm like, I want to know why I was so excited. And he goes, oh, you find out in the video. And I don't think you do find out in the video, but whenever I watched the video, something clicked in my head, and I was like, oh, it was 10,000 steps. That's what I showed him, because it comes up as a notification, and it's like little like celebration thing or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I was showing him was 10,000 steps.
Congratulations. Yeah, man, I would like the Fit. I had one of those Fitbit watches.
Yeah,
and I would get 10,000 steps like before 9 o'clock in the morning.
Oh yeah.
You get like 30,000 steps like a day or something.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, whenever I found out about it, it was like in the spring. So it was like I was still recovering from my back thing. So then I was like, if I never got to this many steps until now, then let's just gauge that. And I brought it down to 10,000. But so whenever I see that, I'm like, oh shit, yeah, that's a good thing. But just because, like, you know what I mean? Now I'm obviously way better, but with my back, that was originally the like where I set it, because I was like, okay, if I can go out and like do that, then like we're good. But now I have to like set a reminder. I actually had a thing, man. It was like a fucking personal assistant, basically, but it told you to do everything, like everything.
You're telling me about this.
Yeah, it's like literally you would wake up and it would be like, drink water.
Right.
You'd have to go and drink water, and it would be like warn you at some point and be like, oh, like breathe or whatever, right? Like it's like not even, but it would be like take a second just to like think for a second, you know? It's like, okay, cool. Like
a meditation
separate
time.
Yourself, yeah, from this shit. And yeah, they had like pretty sure they even had like not only did they have like, this is your scheduled time to do this, but they like showed you how to do it as well. So it was like, here's a scheduled time to do yoga, and they're like, here's like 5 yoga poses and like how to do them and like incorporate them into each other or whatever, right? And like, you know, do this one for this long and like breathe and do these things, right? So it gives you all the instructions, but then like to the other shit, like any of the other things that they're telling you to do, like drink water, it's like, I mean, that's pretty basic, but it would tell you to drink,
how to drink water. The
morning would be like, drink fucking so much water because you have to rehydrate from the night before, and at the same time too, that also it gives you energy in the morning because you're coming back to normal, and it just gives you energy. It wakes you up and it brings you out of that shit.
Nice
and then
glass of cold water in the morning.
So then they have that. It'll be like, okay, in the morning, this specific water directions. You know what I mean? Then later, it's like in the afternoon, it's just a reminder to drink water today. And then like later, it's like, okay, make sure.
So did you find yourself living by this app, or like?
I did it for. So the thing is I liked it because it was telling me everything, like what to do. Hey, what's going down, brother? Oh shit, man! Here, man, you want to take this?
What are you saying? What's poppin'? What's poppin'? Yo! Guess who's back? Guess who's back?
Oh shit! Surprise fucking guest.
Distraction on the way, baby.
God damn.
What you saying?
Nothing, man. Just chilling. What are you saying?
Chilling,
that's crazy, man.
Yeah,
I was like, who's coming after me?
But yeah, man.
Shit.
Distraction on the way, baby.
That's what's up, yeah?
Yeah, it's all recorded, ready to go.
Oh, shit, it's done. Mm-hmm. Oh, man. So, any word on the release date?
We're gonna hit you with that this week.
Okay, coming this week.
Stay tuned.
Dang, that's sick though. You gotta like everything's in fucking order.
Yeah, like a few things to touch up, but we're done.
That's sick, man. It's good news. Fucking right.
Distraction, baby.
Anyway,
yes.
Yeah, man. Fuck yeah. Good seeing you, brother.
Everybody, Jonesy, my man.
Yeah.
Fucking right.
Peace out, people. Folks, distraction on the way, baby. Hey, flat.
Fuck yeah, that's awesome, man. All right, peace, guys. Thanks for coming through.
Got you, bro.
That's awesome.
Nice friendly neighborhood Flacco.
Yeah. Well, it's funny too because I knew Bully was wearing the white sweater or whatever. So whenever I turned around, it was somebody all dressed in black. I'm like, what's going on? Who's this guy?
I'm being robbed.
Oh shit. Now I forget what we're talking about. Oh, just the fucking health shit. Yeah, no, I was living by it. For like, I mean, the other thing too is the 1 week trial was up.
I get it.
But I only fucking, even out of that week though, I really only was like the 5 days at first. But like,
so is it something that you have to pay for? Like, would you pay for it?
Yes, yeah. And I think it's not very much. I think it's like $2.99. Like at the most is like $4.99 a month or something like that.
Okay.
But like, again, I don't need a reminder to drink water and like certain things like that. But it's just like,
keeps you on the right track.
Well, yeah, because even too, like, it would wake me up. So I didn't even, like, I don't fucking really set an alarm or anything. But this, I set a time frame or whatever, or like a time, like, as my wake up time. But I thought, like, wake up time to them was like
12 and noon.
Like, no, I thought they meant it was like this is your wake up time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you wake up and then you have wake up time. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, time to wake up, right?
Yeah, I get you.
So I thought that's what they were saying. So I was like, yeah, like this time. And so I thought it was just like, anyways, whatever. Then they're like, so then they actually set an alarm for you to wake you up, right? So you wake up, like, do this thing, fucking, so you go drink the water. And like the first day, like, even whenever I first saw it, I was like, this is dumb. But then the first day I did it, and I was like, just waking up and drinking the water was like, it does change you, like, because I'm always like fucking kind of just like sluggish in the morning and shit. Like, even once I like get up and shower and I'm like, yeah, let's go do stuff, I'm still just kind of like like not fully there, and that's the fucking dehydration thing. But no, so I would definitely pay for it. I just fuck that.
Fuck that.
But no, like I said, I mean, the other thing too is I wasn't doing a lot of the stuff. It was like meditation,
right,
and stuff like that. So I'd be like, okay, cool.
But at least it gave you some good ideas to like, hey, maybe I'll keep this or that.
Yeah, no, true, yeah. But like I said, I would pay for it if I guess what it is, the only reason I'm not doing it is just because I'm like, fuck it, whatever.
Just too lazy. You need another app to tell you to do.
Yeah. This app but something. It's like, it's like, I mean, it's good for you to keep a regimen, I guess that's what it is, right? So then it's like, you know.
It's important, man. Like, honestly, if you can live like by like a strict routine and like do the same thing within reason, like every day, you know what I mean, at the same time every day, and be really disciplined with it, like you'll find like a massive improvement.
There's a saying I once read on the internet. I'm gonna pull it up just because I'm pretty sure it's on this page that's like easily accessible. Here it is. We all must. This is a quote from The Rock. And it's on the wall at Savage Mode Fitness. Shout out to Savage Mode Fitness. And it says, we all must suffer one of two things, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. And I guess how the discipline things, I've just realized I'm like, it's not routine or whatever. What do we say? Not routine. What do we call it? Regimen, yeah. Like it's so I guess that's what I thought they were getting at. No, so discipline is what I'm saying is like I was gonna say, I thought it said like we either know routine or like we lose or whatever. But I took it totally different the other way. But how that relates though is the discipline thing, right? You have to have discipline to have the regiment in the first place or whatever. And yeah, I don't have great discipline.
And that's something you gotta work on.
Yeah. I just gotta.
At least you're self-aware enough to know it.
No, it's true. Yeah. I just, I'm like, yeah. Well, even just like, I'm like, okay, like, even like I said, that helped. Like, get up, drink the water, and like even I had like a meditation thing, but I wouldn't like meditate. I would just like put my phone down and like not have the TV on, and I would just like sit there, like
that counts for sure.
But it. Like I felt like later in the day it helped me, you know, everything that I did, you know. And then the other thing too is I guess I smoke a lot of weed too, so I'm just like and then so then on top of everything I felt like that helped too, or it helped me keep energy through the smoking the weed, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Yeah,
you should actually, because I know you were talking about doing the Sober October thing. It obviously didn't work out.
No,
we're a couple days away from November. Yeah, man, like you should actually though like try to commit to like at least a couple weeks.
I want to do 2 weeks, then I was gonna do like a huge dab and shit and see how stoned I get.
You probably get fucking.
But I'm so paranoid that like I know a lot of people that quit smoking weed and then like came back and then they like get right paranoid and shit and they don't like smoking weed anymore. And I'm like, but like, I guess if I didn't like it anymore,
it's probably for the better.
It's probably better, yeah, I guess. But I mean, yeah. Maybe I will then. No, it's true.
I mean, it depends on how long you quit for, I guess, or just like what kind of person. Because I quit for like a few months, and I thought it was like the greatest. I'm like, and it was just a small slip up from like a gift, you know. I'm just like, I'll take that. And then it was like all of a sudden like, I'll take a couple tokes, and then I'm like buying like, I'll just get a gram here, like gram there.
Oh man,
like half quarters, and then it turned to a half ounce. And then,
man, one time it was.
Before you know it, look at that, I'm smoking weed again.
About 6 years ago, I think it was, or 7 years ago. I think it was 2014. This time, 2014. Holy fuck, that's a long time ago. Or I mean, like, it's a lot longer than I thought it was.
Yeah,
like I would have never said 7 years. I would have said 3 or 4 years, but like 7 years.
It's like this thing on the. It's like. I can't believe 20 years ago isn't in the 1980s.
Yeah.
That's what 20 years ago isn't in the 80s. What's going
on? But yeah, so wow, yeah, so 7 years ago. So then so I was like, was it? Yeah. So I was like, I'm fucking gonna move out west, and I was like, I'm gonna quit smoking weed and shit so that I can go like piss clean, and I'll start working out west, and my buddy could give me a job and shit. But I thought like, okay, I'll just fucking quit smoking weed, and I wanted it so bad because I was like, man, like I just need like a change and like whatever, I want out of here and shit, whatever. So I quit smoking weed, and it was like a Thursday, I think. No wait, it might have been a Wednesday because it was like definitely partway through the week, but there was a few days before the weekend. So it was let's say a Wednesday when like my first day quitting smoking weed. Like, yeah, I'm not smoking weed anymore. So I go to work, man, I would roll around in my car with a jar of weed under the seat, and it was like the best fucking weed too. Like, it was so good. But the thing is, I rolled around with it, and that helped me not smoke weed. I think it was just because I was like, I know that I can if I like really, really have to. I know it's like the best weed, but like we're not doing that right now. You know what I mean? Like it's like, you know, like I have really cool like four-wheeler over there, but we're not four-wheeling right now. We're doing this. You know,
you should go buy like an ounce or something of like the most chronic weed you can
just
find,
hang on,
and
dude.
just like hold it. this is the weed that I get to smoke. On this, but one, it reminds me of like the Futurama episode with Bender. He gets this big fucking like $10,000 cigar. It's like the most expensive cigar in the world, and he's like, the smoke of this kind of expensive stogie can only be blown in the face of the most elegant people. And he goes around looking for like the best place to smoke this fucking giant stogie. I feel like that'd be yours. It's like, yeah, just hold on to it and just wait until you find the perfect moment.
Yeah. No. That's hilarious. But yeah, no, I found that actually helped me not fucking smoke weed, which is so weird, but at the same time, like, just because of like I have it there, I don't know, it's weird. But anyway, so I quit smoking weed. So I'm like, yeah. So Wednesday was good, and Thursday was good, and Friday was good. And then Friday night, I think it was, I was with a buddy, and I was like, oh shit, well, I haven't smoked my last joint with this guy yet. You know?
You've said this before.
Yeah?
It's like, yeah, the last joint.
Yeah. So then it's Saturday, and it's like,
smoking weed.
oh wait, like I haven't smoked a joint, but I didn't smoke in between, right? So like, it's not that I still consider that it's quitting smoking weed, but I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. No, I can't smoke weed. I'm like, oh, I'll smoke this. Like, yeah. Then it's like the next day, and I'm like, oh yeah. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just smoking weed.
That's
now.
the thing
like,
with weed, man. It's ritualistic.
Yeah.
Right? So like in my like the times when I would smoke the most, I would literally smoke weed before doing anything. Like like I'm watching a movie, gotta roll a joint. You know, making breakfast, gotta roll a joint. Making lunch. You know, dinner, whatever, gotta roll a joint.
Yeah.
Anything.
Oh, man.
It would be before and after.
Should have saw us out west, man. It was just like, oh, like, get up, like, smoke some weed. Like, we'd all roll our own joint, go outside, smoke some weed. Fucking, we'd all go in, fucking, taking showers and shit, right? We'd all roll one up. And then go and get in the car to go get breakfast down the street. And we'd like smoke half of our joint on the way to the thing. And like, all right, go back to the hotel, smoke the other half of the joint on the way back. Fucking maybe dilly-dally outside the hotel, finishing them up. Then go in to be like, okay, like, we're going to do this stuff now today, right? I'm like, why do we have to go here? Like, why do we have to come back to the hotel? And like, oh, we gotta like grab our shit. And like, I'm like, what shit? Like our weed and shit. Because we'd all go in and like roll up again. So it was like everything we fucking did was like roll a joint. Okay, like do you have like joints rolled for that? Like okay.
That's it, man. Yeah, do you got some joints for that? Like that should be on a shirt.
Yeah. Especially driving though, man. I wanna like smoking cigarettes too, I found whenever I smoked it was like driving all the time.
Yeah, like I find it's like something I look forward to actually, like my drive home from like dropping off my work truck at the end of the night and like driving home and like just being able to smoke a joint on that drive is like, it's like the thing I look forward to from like lunchtime on. I'm like, oh, I can't wait for the day to be over so I can just cruise home and smoke a joint.
Fucking right though. I definitely get the movie thing too. I'm always like, and I used to, like, let's make some food. Okay, cool. Let's roll a joint or whatever, right? But then the thing is, I find whenever I smoke a joint, I'm like, I don't really want to eat. And like, which contradicts the munchie thing, but I find the munchies come later.
Right.
You know?
Actually, I'm totally there with you, man. In fact, like, I would always have to eat before I smoked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like, a lot of the time, I would like if I hadn't eaten for a while and I smoked a joint, I'd get like crazy hungry.
Yeah,
to the point where I feel nauseous. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, I gotta eat food now. Maybe I'm like diabetic or like something like a low blood sugar. Like, fuck, man, like, I would always have to eat first and then smoke a joint. And then, like you said, like an hour later, I'm like, oh, now I can fucking go for a chocolate bar and a bag of chips or something.
Yeah. But yeah, even too, like I had a buddy, like he was always like, okay, yeah, like food's almost ready. Like, roll a joint. Like, yeah, okay, cool. Smoke it. And then I'm like, not like super hungry anymore, you know, like I'm eating it because I'm hungry, but like, no, I'm not really feeling it. And then later I'm like, fuck, like, wish I had that food to eat.
Now it's all cold and left behind.
Fuck, I just realized too, I don't think I introduced anybody, but I think you guys already know who everybody is.
Yeah, we got fucking Captain Skull.
Oh no, I meant Flocks and Bully Zone. I just thought of that. I'm like, shit, they just came in. I was just like, hey, when's it coming?
No, his name was mentioned for sure. We got James Collins in the comments.
Oh yeah, actually.
And Respecting Hip Hop.
Gang. Shout out both those motherfuckers,
Rocky as well.
James Collins. Respecting Hip Hop. James Collins just put out a new video as well for the Pure Love Foundation. Go check it out on his Instagram, Pure Love Foundation.
Do it now. Wait, watch this first and then do it.
Yeah. No, don't go yet. Actually, what you should do is subscribe while you're here. And like I said, go check out that video after this. I was just gonna look up the video, but I'll forget. But yeah, happy motherfucking Halloween. When is it really though? Sunday?
The 30th. Yeah, Sunday.
So we're the fucking 29th. Oh, I was supposed to make a phone call earlier too. Shit, I just remember that. I'm like really, really bad at that shit. Sometimes.
You need an app for that.
I do. I honestly, you know what? The fucking Google gives you like the Google Assistant, and I should utilize that more. Although at the same time too, like I'm really bad for like, an alarm to do that thing. And then I shut it off. Then I don't do it.
That actually goes off. You just shut the alarm off. And
I'm just like, shut it off. And then I just turn around and keep doing whatever I'm doing. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. But I acknowledge it. Like, oh, yeah, that's right. I have to do that thing. Like, man, honestly, I have a fucking...
So that this gets back to the discipline thing.
Yeah.
You just need to be more disciplined. Yeah. That's your problem.
For real, though. So is there an app for that, then?
To be more disciplined? Yeah. If not, you should make one.
Yeah, seriously. Fuck, I had an idea for an app the other day, too. Yeah, it's not coming. So, what about that Epstein guy, eh?
Fuck.
Apparently he's a pretty good guy.
I heard he didn't kill himself.
That's what the kids are saying these days.
It's probably true. Yo, did you hear about fucking is Alec Baldwin or someone got shot on his movie?
Yeah, Alec Baldwin shot some lady and the other person. There was a lady, I believe, and like a woman and a man.
That reminds me of some like fucking.
But he wasn't supposed to. It wasn't supposed to be bullets in the gun or something like that. He was like was practicing,
it's a movie, right? So like it should always be blanks, right?
No, they were blanks, but the little like the cartridge on the blanks can come off, and it comes out and it becomes like a metal projectile.
Okay.
So which is kind of funny because it's like, well, if that's a possibility, then why are you shooting them at each other? First of all, but the thing is it wasn't even the scene. Like they weren't even like filming the scene. He just was like handed a gun, and when they handed him the gun, the guy said it's a cold gun. Like they yelled it in front of everyone, said cold gun, and then he took it. And so he was supposed to practice, like say his line and go or whatever, right? And fucking he did it, and it went off, and it fucking shot them. And
that's wild, man.
And then I guess afterwards he was like, why would you give me a hot gun? And look, well, he just kept saying it over and over again. But I heard a few different stories that I was able to put that whole story together.
Really? Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
that's crazy, man. That happened. Was it Bruce Lee's son?
Yeah, Brandon Lee.
Yeah, the same thing happened.
Yeah, I just found that out. I also found out that Jet Li is no relation to Bruce Lee. It's not even spelled the same.
You learn something every day.
Peace out. It's Fox leaving the building. What? I thought they went in there.
No, man, they definitely went that way.
Fuck, I totally thought that. Oh no, that's right. Yeah. We said bye to them. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I know they opened the door, but I thought they went in there. So whenever he said bye, I'm like, what the fuck? How'd they get over there? There's like a secret tunnel.
Secret passage.
Oh shit.
That's why they call it Borough Media.
Yeah. Oh shit. Fuck. Actually, you know what would be funny though is to build like a cool place like that and have like little like tunnels and shit. Be like a play structure for kids with like a studio in it or whatever.
But like, structure for kids
or for adults. I mean,
the music studio. I can picture it now.
Yeah, and it'd be called Borough Media.
Let's make it happen. Start digging a hole. If Elon Musk.
Oh shit! Whenever I was a kid, I used to actually wish I had like me and my little brother would like dream up these ideas of like having like this underground like fortress and shit, and then we had like a slide from our bedroom that like went down into the underground fortress and shit. Yeah.
It's like some super secret bunker.
So now we could do it. We have what is it? Access to adult money.
I think that's gonna take some serious adult money though.
Yeah. Oh shit. But yeah, no, it's a good idea. Well, like it's just an idea. I don't know about a good idea, but I could do it. I mean, the studio already exists.
Yeah, you're halfway there.
We just need to make the tunnels. What the fuck was I saying the other day? Oh. So earlier today I was watching the Nelk Boys podcast. They were talking about doing mushrooms with Bradley Martin.
Okay.
And the funny thing is I didn't think he like was like that. He's like a big like he works out and stuff.
Straight edge guy.
Yeah, and he's like owns a gym and stuff. Not that if you own a gym you don't do drugs, but I just didn't think that he was like that. He's like very like healthy nutrition guy, right. And like he always bitches that Steve will do it for doing stupid shit.
Mushrooms are good for you.
But yeah, no, he was talking about doing them, but it's funny because the like his knowledge of them is extensive. He sounds like me talking about shit like that. Like he's like,
I find that it's like, is it actually extensive or is it just one of those people that like says a few buzzwords about mushrooms?
No, I just mean like he's definitely like he knows what he's talking about because he was telling them about like because the one apparently none of the fucking Nelk Boys or not none of the Nelk Boys, the two guys Salim and Kyle that were on the TV, they I guess haven't done mushrooms as much. Like they like do little bits but not like to trip out. So they're asking him about it and he was just like I said, it sounds like me. Like he's like, oh, if you want, like, what did he call it? He's like, what the fuck did he call it? Like a hero dose or something, or like a fuck. Anyways, whatever. But I just mean he knows. I'm not saying necessarily he's smart, but it's just that he knows he's done it a lot, right? Or like he's been around it enough. But I just meant for him to be like, I know him as like drinking like protein shakes and like pre-workout and like going to work out. Like he's literally, if you see him, he's just like jacked as fuck. And then he's always, like I said, he's always bitching at Steve. Steve will do it about shit. So I just see him like that. I don't see him to be like, oh, not only have I done mushrooms, but like, let me tell you all about it. Like, And he had like the best ways to say things too. Cause the one guy's like, yeah, like I just don't know. I couldn't handle like the visuals and shit or like the hallucinations. And he's like, you don't see anything that's not there. He's like, you see everything that's there, but you experience it differently or something like that. Like I was like, yo, that's so true.
Man, it's been a while since I've had like a profound like mushroom trip. You know what I mean? I've had it before in my day, like profound mushroom trips.
I got fucking really high on mushrooms. It was probably
too much
a couple years ago
to actually like get rid of mushrooms anymore.
Well, it was a couple years ago now, I think, but I just remember we were all at my buddy's place and we all took some mushrooms, but like I took like a lot of mushrooms, like 4.5 grams or something. And these were fucking really, really good mushrooms. Like, and I'm not just saying that, like I had eaten 1 gram of them And I got so fucked up. Actually, there were the ones, remember one time we did a podcast, I took a 0.3. I was like, yeah, that'll be good, guys. I left and I sat in the parking lot for an hour. And I was texting, I was texting this girl. I wasn't texting this girl. This girl was messaging me, and we were talking about COVID stuff because it was around that time, like whenever it first started.
Okay.
And so we were talking about all this shit, and then I looked up and realized, like, holy fuck, like, I'm just sitting in this parking lot. I'm like, I should probably stay sitting in this parking lot for a bit. Then I pull out and I get on the fucking road. As soon as I got on the highway, I like merge onto the highway, and the fucking a car comes up like beside me. And like, I'm like, just don't look over, right? I see the lights, but I'm like, just don't look over. I'm like, okay. So in my mind, this is a cop. It ended up being a cop, but in my mind, this is a cop. I just saw the lights coming. I'm like, just don't look, and he won't know anything's up, you know? So I'm just driving, whatever. And I look, and I see this other car coming up behind me, too. And I was like, okay. And I was like, man, like, those headlights look like cop lights. And I was like, I think that's a cop car. I'm like, man, like, you're just high. Like, I'm like, just chill out. And I'm like, yeah, man. I'm like, I think it's the cops. I'm like, no, whatever. And I see like a glimpse of the light, so I can see it's like a gray car or something, or like silver or whatever. Like, it's not white or black. So I'm like, okay, person behind me is not a cop. I still haven't really looked over here yet. I don't know what's going on, but they're just sitting beside me, right? And usually whenever I get on the highway, I try and stay like between like 100 and like 105, especially in that situation when I'm not sure if it's the cops or not, because I don't want to just take off. Yeah, for sure. So now they're sitting beside me and this guy's behind me, and I'm like, I feel like they're like closing me in. Like they're like, okay, you stay behind him and I'll stay beside him, you know? And I'm like,
working together.
Oh my god, yeah. And then all of a sudden, man, I see like cherries in the mirror and shit. I'm like, oh fuck. And I like look in this mirror and I just see like fucking cops fly by. I'm like, holy fuck. And then I like look over and I'm like, it's a cop beside me. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, why aren't they taking off? I'm like, go with your friends. Like,
get out of
go,
here.
Yeah. Like, go with them. So I'm like, okay. So then a little while later, I see like 2 seconds later, whatever, I see another cop, lights on, fly by. I'm like, okay. Now like, what the fuck? I'm like, go away. I'm like, what are you doing? And then another car comes up behind the car beside me. So now I'm like literally like kind of like boxed in this way. Like if I stop, they're like pushing me one way type thing, you know? So I was like, okay, I'm like, what the fuck? Anyways, they all ended up being cops, and they're all sitting like around me, and I'm like, what the fuck? But I didn't know now until like I knew the guy beside me was a cop, and he like started ahead of me a bit, and I was trying not to slow down too much. And then the guy that was behind him, like the last dude that pulled up, he like kind of went ahead too, but like just like half a kilometer faster than me. And then like I'm like, okay, another cop. I'm like, what the fuck? And this guy pulls out, or no, actually he went this way. He went to like Castle Frank, or no, wait, sorry. Yeah, he went to... No, yeah, it was before Castle Frank. So he went to Moody, I guess. But either way, regardless.
Minor detail.
No, yeah. But no, then he goes fucking this way. And I'm like, man, that's a cop too. But it was like an undercover cop car. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, okay, man, I just want to get off the fucking road. I'm like, just get off the road. I'm like, whatever. I'm like, it'll be okay. Like, whatever. So I get off at Castle Frank and I go down. There's like a little fucking apartment building right off the highway. So I go and sit in the parking lot. And I'm like, okay, like, you're good. Like, whatever. And I ended up texting this girl. And we continued our COVID conversation, and then I fucking eventually I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna leave now. So I go to leave. I get to the edge of the parking lot of this apartment building, and I go to turn left, and there's a set of lights right there. So okay, I'll turn left. So as I come up to the end, I was just gonna like kind of slow down and go, but I look, I'm like, oh, there's a car coming. So I stop. Undercover cop car goes in front of me. I'm like, what? Are they like looking for me? Like, what the fuck? So he turns right at the light. So he goes this way and goes right. I come out to the set of lights and I look, and there's a car across the street comes up to the lights. Then they turn because they have a right, like they can turn right at the red light. So they turn, fucking cop car, white fucking like cop car. I'm like,
you're just high and think every cop or every
no, they are though. Like I could even see the one that went in front of me was like, it was a black like undercover car, but I could see like the cop in it. And then the one across the way, like I said, it pulled out and it was like fucking white like police, like Ottawa police. And I'm like, holy fuck, I just want to get out of the city. So I get on the highway. I'm like, fuck this shit. And I had to go through the mall because you can't just go onto the fucking highway at house prank. But anyway, so I had to go all through the mall, whatever. I get off the fucking highway, or get onto the highway, and I'm just like, now you're in the like dark part of the highway, I call it. Like you're like in the bush, you know?
Right.
So I'm like driving, and then up further, I'm like, what's going on up here? Fucking lights everywhere, the cop lights everywhere. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, what's going on? So then I'm like, you know how if there's like an accident up here, they'll put like a sign for you to go this way on the, like, you got to get off the highway.
Right.
Well, I guess they like hadn't gotten to that point yet, and I wasn't about to drive past all these cops on the highway because like, regardless of what's going on, I went on to like the scanner on the internet, and I Google the scanner thing, and I find there's a plane that just landed at the Ottawa airport. Unrelated to my story, but plane that just landed at the fucking airport. Hallucinations. Like the green on the doors and stuff is like moving and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
If it's a pattern, you'll hallucinate, right? So if I'm looking at like this, there's a pattern. I'm like, okay, I'm hallucinating. Look at the blank white wall. Okay, you won't see anything, right? Like you'll maybe, but like it's more so this stuff that like a pattern will move, you know. So I'm like, okay, oh, there's something going on over here. And then I'm like, oh, it's over here. And I'm like, oh, holy fuck. So then I'm like, okay, just look at the wall. And I'm like, oh my God. And everything had like fucking colors and everything all over. And I was like, what the fuck? And I was sitting there like Scrooge McDuck like this. Like how he's like swims in the coins and stuff. I'm like going like this. I had like stuff coming through my fingers and stuff. I was like,
tracers
man,
and shit.
like what the fuck? It looked like there was like sand falling through my hands and shit. Like, so I was like, holy fuck, man. It was the one time that I turned to my buddy and I was like, you know, whenever you're like, I wasn't going to puke. This is just an analogy. But you know, whenever you're going to puke, you're like, oh man, I think I'm going to puke. But it wasn't as bad, or it wasn't so bad until you said something. Now everyone else's panic creates. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's like, I'm like, okay, man, if I like just pass the fuck out, I'm like, everyone needs to know that I wasn't having a good time before it happened, you know? So I'm like, I just turned to my buddy and I'm like, just, hey man, I'm like, don't like make it a big thing, but I'm like really fucked up. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, no, like I'm really fucked up. And I was like, don't tell anybody or don't like make a big fuss or anything, but I'm like too high. And he's like, oh, okay. And he just looked away. And I'm like, oh shit. Not only am I dying, but I'm dying alone. Like I'm like, oh my God, man.
Back to being on my own again.
Yeah. So then I was like, but then later I realized, I'm like, man, he must have done it because I was like, don't make it a thing. Like, don't freak out. So he's like, okay, don't freak out. Like, anyways. And he just went back to party with everyone else. But I was like, I'm fucking dying. And then all of a sudden I just went and caught my breath the one time. I'm like, yeah, I'm fine.
Eventually you settle. That's the best part about it, though. Like, I've had some trips like that where I've really been freaking out, like freaking the fuck out.
Yeah.
And eventually like settle into it and then have like the best time of my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're like fucking, oh yeah.
Once you get comfortable with your surroundings, especially. And like,
but I've never been like, that was the highest I've ever been on mushrooms that time. And it was like, yeah. Like I don't always hallucinate or whatever the fuck. And even whenever I do, it's nothing like that. Like it was just like fucking unreal.
I've had, a handful of experiences like that. Like, not knowing, being in Guelph was like one of the ones that sticks out like in my mind the most, because I was at like 2 keg parties, like, you know, college days. Fucking, we're at one keg party and everyone's just drunk, and I've got a fire extinguisher. We're in like a college dorm, like res places, whatever. There's a fire extinguisher on the wall. Someone hands it to me and I'm like trying to fucking squeeze it and like make it shoot, but I can't figure it out. There's like a pin or something you have to pull out.
Yeah.
And someone comes along, is like, oh, you have to do this, and like does it for me, and I'm just like squeezing it and it's going fucking spraying everywhere. And got in a lot of, they got them in a lot of trouble. Like they got them in a lot of trouble. The weekend after that, like pretty close by, buddy gets a bunch of mushrooms. I do a bunch of mushrooms with him, and we go to this keg party. And I get to this keg party, and I'm in Guelph. Like I don't know anybody except for the people that I live with. Like we're just two or three other buddies from like high school.
Yeah.
And so they're like in college at the time, so they've got like a bunch of like people they know and like whatever. And like there's just me like that knows like basically a couple people. I'm high as fuck, and one of my buddies, he's like, oh, that's the guy that like whose room or like dorm you fucked up. Like they're at the same party. And then I start really freaking out because I think they're gonna like want to beat the shit out of me, right? Like, I feel like they're trying to like get me in a fucking spot by myself, so beat the living hell out of me. So I start like tripping myself out, being like, oh, I gotta get the fuck out of here. I gotta get the fuck out of here. So I walk out the front door and I just start walking down the street. It wasn't until I got like couple minutes down the road, I'm like, I'm literally in Guelph. I'm in a city. I have no idea where anything is. Like, what am I doing? Like, I literally have nowhere. I don't know where I'm going. I don't even know where the place is that I was staying. Like how far it was from the party. I showed up with a bunch of people. I wasn't paying attention. We got on a bus and I'm like, oh, now I'm here, you know?
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to get back. So like I'm stuck at this party freaking out, like bad tripping because I feel like I'm gonna die, like someone wants to kill me, and I want to leave but I can't, right? And so then I got my good buddy Devin. I'm like, man, you gotta get me out of here. Like I gotta find a way back to the house so I can just trip out by myself and like calm down. And he ends up calling me a cab. And this cab driver must have thought I was like more drunk or something than I've ever been. Like I was like slurring my words.
Oh yeah.
I was seeing things. Oh man, I was just like tripping out by myself. I was probably acting all weird too, like in the front seat or like next to him. Like he drops me off, and so we had a buddy like actually it was myself and two other buddies that lived in this house in Guelph, and our other buddy was visiting that weekend, like from Ottawa. And his car was in the driveway, so we pull up to this, like my buddies paid for this cab for me to get home. I'm tripping the fuck out, and I pull up in front of our house, and I get out of the cab, and the cab starts driving away, and I'm like, whoa, you dropped me at the wrong place. I'm at the wrong place. And he's like, no, this is the address that we were told to drop you off at. I'm like, no, this is the wrong place. And then it took me again another couple of minutes to realize, I'm like, oh, okay, that is our place. This is my buddy's car. Parked in the driveway. Yeah. It's not usually there. I'm like, whose car is this? Like, totally tripped me out. I'm like, I'm at the wrong place. I don't recognize this car. I don't recognize these houses. Like, where the fuck am I?
Oh shit, that's hilarious.
Yeah, it was like, honestly, I was like, that was probably the worst bad trip I've had on mushrooms for sure.
Fuck. One time I actually I think I came to Ottawa to pick up some mushrooms, and I went home, and me and my buddy and like a bunch of people, I believe, were supposed to take these mushrooms and go to this party or whatever. And so I come back. Everybody is fucked up. Everybody is fucked up. And like I think the other thing too is there wasn't supposed to be so many people there as there were at the party. Like we were supposed to, like me and my buddy and somebody else were all gonna hang out and then go to this party. When I get there, there's like fucking like 20-30 people at his apartment. What the fuck's going on? I'm like, where the fuck is Damien? I'm like, where are you guys? Like, where is he? Like, what the fuck are you guys doing here and shit? Like, what the fuck? And they're like, oh no, he's in his room. And I'm like, okay. Oh, I should have name dropped just because we're about to do some cocaine in the story. But anyways, I go in and everyone's in the fucking bedroom or whatever. And so he's like, hey man, you're here. He's like, yeah. He's like, you got the mushroom. But like, he is fucking drunk. Like, he would get drunk, like,
sloppy.
Like, you would like see him somewhere and be like, hey, like it's you. And like, there's a chance he might not even like see you, let alone like have time to not recognize you. You know what I mean? Like he might not even see you. But no, so he like, anyway, so I'm like, hey man, like, what's up? He's like, yeah. He's like, oh yeah. So like, we're gonna do the mushrooms and stuff and like whatever. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. So then we all go into the living room, we're hanging out. And I'm like, okay. So you want to do some mushrooms? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. So how much you want to do? He's like, 2 grams. So I'm like, okay. So I give him 2 grams. And I take 2 grams and I'm like, okay. Like, let's do this. And he's like, okay. And I'm like, I'm not eating them until he eats them, right? I'm not the only person that's going to be high on these mushrooms, you know? So anyways, fucking, I'm like, oh, and then he turns around, he starts talking to someone, and I'm like, okay, I'm not fucking eating these yet. So I'm like, hey man, like, we eating these? He's like, yeah, okay, yeah. He's like, turns around, puts them down somewhere. Like, it just kept happening, like, all the time. Then he'd be like, hey man, like, we eating those mushrooms? I'm like, yeah, like, I already gave them to you. You put them down over there. And he's like, oh yeah. And then he'd get all ready, be like, okay man, like, all right, let's do this. Yeah, all right, yeah. anyways, yeah, I need to turn around. Like, he just kept putting them down and shit. So I'm like, hey, man, if you don't want to do mushrooms, we don't have to do mushrooms. But I'm like, I'm just not going to eat them by myself.
Yeah, you got to have somebody else there. And
and like, everyone's watching this happen too, right? Like, I believe other people were probably eating them too. I don't know. Because I know later there was somebody else that was high with me. But so now the other thing is so now finally I eat them. But, like, we're both standing there, like, we're going to eat them. And everyone's, like, laughing, like, okay, it's the 18th time you got to try to eat them, you know, whatever. I'm like, okay, we're going to eat them. Like, all right, yeah. And literally, like, almost ate them. Like, I did. But he, like, almost ate them. And then he's just like, yeah, like, starts talking about something and then puts them down. And I was like, fuck you then. I'm like, this is it. So later someone's like, hey, man, you want a line? I'm like, yeah. And, like, if I eat, this is, like, mind you, too, like 18 years old or something, right? And so, like, oh, do you want a line? And the thing is, if I eat mushrooms or like acid, I guess does it too, but if I eat mushrooms and then like sniff a line, it would like hit me like right away, like it would fuck me right up, and I would feel like the mushrooms would hit me, you know. So anyway, so then I go and I do this and I come back and I sit down on the couch and I'm like, oh fuck. And I'm like, man, it's happening. I'm like, fuck, I'm starting to trip out. But now I'm like, no one else is fucking high in here. And I'm like, fuck. So I'm like, oh man. And not only on this, but like, we have to go to this party afterwards too. And I'm like, I'm just like not having a good time, like at all. And I was like, fuck, man. Oh man. And I'm just sitting there like, oh my God. And everyone around me, I feel like it's a me against them thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just like so fucking, and now I'm like so high, so paranoid. I'm so fucked up. I'm like, oh man. And my buddy turns to me from across the room and he turns and looks at me and he's just like eyes wide open and shit. And he looks at me and goes, I'm with you, bro. And I was like, no, man, I took mushrooms, man. And he's just like, me too. And I was like, nice. I'm like, okay, good. I'm like, I have somebody here, you know, like, fuck. So we end up going to this party and we get there and I'm like, everyone else now is like whoever is eating mushrooms has eaten the mushrooms now, right? And but I'm still the only one that's like right fucked up. I'm like, I'm not going to the bar. And they're like, okay, well, you can stay here. I'm like, okay, cool. And they're like, here, turn on the TV and stuff. You can chill in here, like whatever. I'm like, okay, cool. Everyone leaves and goes to the bar. As soon as everyone leaves, I'm like, shit, this house is haunted. And like, I know it to be haunted. Like people have told me stories of being there, but I was there one time when some shit happened. And like, so fucking, I'm like, what the fuck? Now I'm here alone, tripping on mushrooms, and this fucking house is haunted. And I was like, okay, just forget about all that and just watch the fucking TV. I'm like, okay, cool. So I start getting into this TV show. There's like 3 minutes left of it, and then it's over. Well, the next show starts. I'm like 10 minutes into this show before I realize it's some ghost fucking show. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? I'm like, and you're sitting in this fucking haunted house? I'm like, no way. So I get a phone call, and I'm like what the fuck? Like, pick it up. Well, I saw who it was or whatever, but it was my girlfriend at the time. So I pick it up, and I'm like, the fuck? I'm like, someone has to come home right now. And my buddy's like, hey. He's like, it's fucking so-and-so. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, man, I'm like, somebody's got to come home. Someone's got to come here, like, right now. I'm like, I'm fucked up, whatever. Anyways, it's like an hour and a half later. Like, I'm sitting there. Like, I end up turning off the TV and just sitting there because I'm like, I think I turned the channel to something scary again. Like, it was just like,
try to find like a fucking cartoon show.
Yeah. I was just like, fuck it.
Cheer me up.
So I just sat there, man. And all of a sudden, man, like 10 people burst through the door, dying, fucking laughing. Everyone's fucking tripping out. And I'm like, it's not even like relief. Like, oh, yeah, now we can all like trip out and like be happy together. I'm just like, no. Like, it's not funny. Like, you know, like, I'm like, I was just, I was like so upset that I was like so scared at that moment. And they walked in and they were so happy. I was just so upset about it. Like, I was just like, no. Like, no. And then after a while, you know, it wore off. But like, yeah, I was like, that was probably, yeah, probably my worst mushroom experience. Yeah, it was fun along the way, and it's a good story. But at the same time, the whole time I was like, no, like, I'm not doing this. Like, I was like, I don't want to do this.
Man, bad trips can be pretty brutal for sure. I remember after the cab guy dropped me off.
Sounds adventurous though, too.
Yeah, like it dropped me off, and I literally shut off every light in the house because I thought that I was so weird in the cab that the guy thought I was like I thought he was gonna call the cops on me or something. I started like getting all paranoid that the cops are gonna come and knock on the door. So I was just like lock myself in my bedroom in the dark. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna sit here and watch the pretty colors. You know, when you close your eyes, or whatever,
you see all the
It's like I'm gonna sit here until this wears off because I'm fucked.
Oh shit, that's hilarious though. Well, I mean, like, I guess now it is, but I could see it being very.
It's scary at the time, man.
Well, because especially not being somewhere you're like a city that you're not
like not familiar with at all. It's all about like set and setting, right? Like your mindset and like the environment you're in, the people you're with. Like that's how you have a good mushroom trip. You want to have a bad mushroom trip, put yourself in a place where you don't know anybody or nobody else but you is high. Or, you know, like
man, me and my buddy, same dude from the original story too. But we were sitting on my house and we ate these mushrooms. We were drinking too. We ended up we left my house. I think we had like it was like a big jug, like it looks like a milk jug or like a fucking windshield washer fluid or something, you know, like, but it was like juice or something.
Okay.
And but we had like emptied it out using it for mix, and then we had like mixed a whole bunch of shit into it, and it was like just this like purple fucking, like, I don't even know what was in it. Like it might have been like
concoction,
maybe like I assume being purple, maybe it was like a sourpuss and shit like that or whatever, but it was just like a whole bunch of shit. We put some juice and some booze and like some shit in this thing. So we had drank like some normal fucking civilized drinks at the house, but then we were like mixed it all together so we could put it in this one big jug and like take it with us, right? But now we're tripping out on mushrooms and we're just like carrying this like big jug of like mixed drink with us, drinking out of it. We're like, oh shit, like now we just feel like bums. And it's fucking raining and we're going to this girl we worked with. She's a little bit older than me, but then her sister was like a little bit older than her, so she'd be like 3 years older than me, and then like the sister was like maybe 2 or 3 years older than her. So like whenever you're like 16 or whatever, like that's a lot. It's like 21, 22 or whatever, right? So we go to this party where like all these people are dressed like pretty nice and like they're like older and stuff, right? And we're not at all. And like not only that, but we're like just like hoodies and stuff. Like it was not like we weren't nicely dressed, but they were dressed like city people, I guess. We would
for the situation.
Yeah, we show up and we just stand there at the door with this jug of fucking booze. But the thing is like when we hang out with this girl and party with this girl, like that's acceptable. Like we would show up and be like, like with this jug of booze, right? But we show up and these people are like, there was probably like fucking like cheese and crackers and shit out, like, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't a 16-year-old party.
It was a classy party.
And so we just stood at the door, and it was literally like there was like this half circle around us at the door, and then everybody else in the party was like having the greatest time, you know, like dancing and smiling and shit. Me and Buddy are sitting there, our hair is all wet, we're tripping out. At one point, like at any one point when you look over, one of us is holding this like jug of fucking booze, and we're just like, we gotta go. Like this is not our fucking spot to be.
Life of the party over here.
Yeah. But yeah, we just felt like, no, like we're not. It's like my buddy would always say he was in a box, because he would come over. And like he's always slept weird hours, but he would come over, we'd be partying, be like 3 o'clock in the morning. We're all like fucking high on mushrooms or like whatever, right? High on whatever the fuck we were doing. And then he would come over and he'd wake up. He smokes a lot of weed, so he'd come over and he'd be like, oh, I fucking rolled this joint. I figured I'd come over and smoke with you guys, whatever. So we're hanging out and shit, and like we'd be like laughing about some like fucking joke we had from earlier in the night, and like we're, you know what I mean, like they're just not in on the fucking scenario. And he'd be like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And we're like, no, it's from earlier when this thing happened. And he's like, I won't get it. I'm not gonna get it. Let's just like move past that. Okay, yeah. And then there would just be so many scenarios like that would happen that he'd be like, all right. The one day he pulls out a pack of smokes and he puts it on the table and he draws like a little square in the corner of the pack of smokes. He's like, I'm in here. And he's like, you guys are out here. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I'm in the box. And I was like, I didn't get it. I didn't know what he meant. But then one day, like I didn't know what he meant. But then even once I understood what he meant, I still didn't, like, I've never been there. I'm usually in the group of people doing the jugs or whatever, right? And but then I started like I could see it, you know, like whenever like I was sober, I'm like, oh, I'm like I get it. Like you guys were having a whole other trip before I got here, like, you know, it's like not part of that. Like I don't know, it just seems so different. But he would always point that out. He's like, oh no, he's like, I'm in the box now.
You gotta be in the vibe from the start, otherwise.
Yeah, and there'd even be a point like he would be like, yeah, no, like now is the point where I'm in the box. I'm gonna go. Or I'm like realizing it now. But yeah, no, it's funny because you can be in the box from both sides. Because there in that story with me and my buddy, we were in the box, but we were the ones high on the mushrooms.
Right.
But yeah, fuck no, mushrooms are fun. But
Good times.
I haven't done them for a little bit. I don't think. Oh no.
I think Bisho's birthday was the last time
I did them a bunch out west.
Yeah.
Forgot. Bisho's birthday. Holy shit, that was I honestly, man, I wish I could record images from my head because I guess I could just no. I was gonna say I could film it and then like show people and say that that's what happened, but no, it doesn't work that way. But no, I just at Bisho's house, you were on the couch, you were like holding the fucking pillow, and you're like, I don't know what you guys want from me, like I don't know what the fuck, like whatever. And then like, but I'm standing over you, looking at you on the couch, and then like flash to being at your house, and we're in the backyard, and Bisho's on the couch, and he's holding a pillow, and he's like, I don't know what you guys want from me, I don't know what and I'm like, oh my god, it's the exact same thing. But I remember too, that night was the fucking, because I had like a big joint or something, or like not like a big joint, but I had like it might have been one of those like moon rocket joints or something like that.
Right.
And we took the mushrooms, and then we went outside and we smoked it. And I remember we sat on the fucking ground, I think, on the little patio or whatever, not the patio, the little balcony. But I could start to see, like, we were fucking partway through this joint.
My place?
At Bisho's house,
Right,
yeah. And we were like partway through this joint, and I could see like all the lines in the concrete coming down like this.
It's like Matrix style.
And it was like, yeah, I was like, oh fuck, what the fuck? I'm like, I think I'm starting to get high, and I'm like, no, it can't be. Like, we just took them and then came out here and smoked this joint. I'm like, there's no way. So what the fuck? And then I remember going back inside, and like the lights were off, and there was light coming from outside, natural light, but like where it was dark, it was really dark. So whenever I would look there, I would see like those colors and shit like we were talking about earlier. So I'm walking around the apartment, I'm just like, oh, and I'm like, oh, like fuck, I'm like, I'm fucked, and I'm like, oh, and I was like, I got shit to do today. Oh shit, because I remember I was like, I don't want to be high yet. I don't want to be that high yet.
I remember the Uber ride just being a fucking riot. Like,
I remember too, the guy showed up, huge fucking black dude, dreadlocks, little fucking like Mazda MP5 thing or whatever the fuck it's called, or MPV or whatever, and what the fuck? I forget what he said. I don't know if he said anything. Like, he was just like, hey, or whatever. But whenever we rolled up, he's like, big smile, everything. But he looked like he was just stuffed into this little car. And we all get in. I remember, too, the funniest thing is that I can think of anyways is that I was like, man, can I put on my music? And he's like, yeah, for sure. I put on a song and I played it. But then I took a Snapchat of everybody in the car and the song playing and stuff. But then the Snapchat just kept replaying the whole way back to like the whole way to your house. So like in my mind, I thought the song was playing, but it was just the same like 15-second clip that kept playing over and over again.
I remember that.
And we were just all dying fucking laughing because it was just because whatever was going on, it was things being said. And I remember too, actually, when that guy pulled up, this is a kind of maybe a weird thing to remember, I guess. Well, if you're high on mushrooms, it's not. But I remember I was smoking outside the front door, and I looked down, and all of a sudden there was just a whole fuck ton of ants. Yeah,
I do remember that.
Yeah. I was like, holy fuck, because I remember I was so like wrapped up in the ants, and then Buddy pulled up and I was like, hey, like he's like a cartoon.
Oh fuck, good times.
Oh shit, no, yeah, that was fun. Fuck.
It was a weird night for me, man, because it started out great, and then like I think it was like no disrespect to Sargent or anything like that, but I'd never met him before, right?
Oh
like,
yeah,
it was,
that's
like,
right.
the first night I've ever met him, and he showed up with some chick or someone, and like Maybe it was a couple people.
Yeah, I was thinking it was with 2 girls. Yeah.
And like, it was just like a weird vibe after that for me, where I'm like, I feel like I gotta entertain these people, but I'm super high on mushrooms and like.
I even too, because I remember we were sitting there, fucking me and you and Bisho were like, we were watching South Park or we were playing a game or something.
The top of it for me right there. It was like I was super comfortable. Everything was.
I think that's whenever they showed up, maybe, or something like that. Yeah.
And then everything got like the whole vibe changed. I'm like, oh, now I gotta be like, hey, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I can't just be a fucking like.
And they like wanted us to sing or something, or not sing, but they wanted us to like perform in the basement or something.
We were trying to do something with music.
And then fucking no, that was.
It didn't go out
well. And I just remember it was like, there's just a lot going on. But no, that was a good night though. Either way, mushrooms are fun. That's the main fucking point here. I actually was telling a story about. Just the other day about doing some mushrooms. Funny thing is the same guy is in this story too. That's funny. Damien, I already said his name, but that's so. I was telling this story because it was we were talking about my buddy and his mom, and his mom fucking showed up in the morning. We were camping. Well, we weren't camping. We set up a tent like in the bush, like near the like. It was just like
technically that's camping,
I guess, yeah. But it was like there's like the fucking soccer fields at Mattaway, and then there's like a little bush line that's like a couple trees thick. Then there's like another big field, and we just like camped in there. But so. He said he was staying at my house.
That old trick when you said he's staying at
your house. Yeah. And then fucking... so anyways, so that's why I was telling the story, because his mom showed up being like, the fuck? Because he wasn't at my house. Because we were supposed to go to Ottawa too or something like that. I forget. But anyways, then, or like in his story, we were going to Ottawa. But and then so then we went in. We were sitting in this tent tripping on mushrooms. Well, we weren't tripping on mushrooms yet. We had eaten some mushrooms. And you know that time like when all of a sudden it's just like you like look at each other and you're all dying laughing, or all of a sudden just everyone starts laughing. It was one of those, but it was like Buddy was wearing headphones, but they were the old ones that like they'd wrap around your ear and then they went around the back of your head. Yeah. And he had long hair, so his hair went like this, and then it like came out again, and he looked like a chick. And so he's sitting there like this with the music on, and he's like rocking out to he had a Discman too. Just
the good old days.
So he's sitting there, he's listening to music, and there's probably 8 of us sitting around in this. There was like 3 tents, but we had like one big one where we all hung out. So we're all sitting there, and like no one's like high yet or anything. We're all sitting around talking and stuff, and like whatever. And all of a sudden, someone's like, "Yo, like look at Justin, he looks like a girl," and everyone just starts dying laughing. I'm like rolling around the fucking thing laughing. He starts fucking laughing, and he's looking around at us laughing, but we're laughing even harder because he thinks he's laughing with us, but we're laughing at him. So we're laughing even harder, and he's, I guess, starting to get high now. So he's just like literally dying, like fucking veins in his head and shit. Like we're all fucking dying, but he's dying, and it's making us laugh even worse or even more because he thinks he's laughing with us. So we're just dying, and he's laughing more, and we're laughing more, just fucking dying. It was so fucking funny.
Those are the best. Like, just
can't even remember where it started. Yeah, even actually again same guy, but me and him and our girlfriends, we were planning to go to his apartment, and we were gonna like drink or something. But then like the only reason I say that is because like I don't think mushrooms were like on the menu exactly that night, but like they were there. And then this guy's like, "Yo," he's like, "Can you drive me out to my hunt camp or whatever?" And we're like, "Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, drive you out there." So then, fucking, we take these mushrooms on the way. Like we're out on the way out there, and we take them. I might have even told this story before, but we knew how to like race back to town, but we didn't think like at the time we didn't think like, okay, let's take these. It's like, yeah, half an hour, 45 minutes later we'll be high, right? And we're like 20 minutes from town, and we're like almost at the cottage, so we'll eat them now, and then like we'll be home before we're high. And worst case, we get high when we're like getting home, right? We like left the fucking the cottage or whatever, the hunt camp, and fucking we're driving down the road, and all of a sudden we just go, and we start fucking dying laughing. But I'm laughing so hard whenever I chip on mushrooms. For some reason, especially whenever I laugh, I'll like hide my face and shit. So I'm dying laughing, and I'm holding the steering wheel like this, but I'm hiding my face like this from the road. And so I'm holding the steering wheel, and I'm dying laughing in the corner by the door like this, and I'm holding my fucking face, like covering it like this.
It sounds extremely dangerous.
Yeah, I know for sure. And then I fuck because like I said, I would like hide my face when I was high on mushrooms, like when I was laughing and shit. So anyways, yeah, I'm like doing this, and then all of a sudden I realized like, oh my god, like you're driving. So I like look at the road, I'm like, okay. Then I look at him and like been laughing and laughing and laughing. Okay. Like stop and shit. I'm like, okay. I'm like, guys. I'm like, it's like I'm trying to be so serious, but I'm laughing so hard. I'm like, we gotta fucking keep it together. Of course, the girls, they were smart enough not to eat the mushrooms at all until we got home, and they also knew enough not to eat as much as we did. But anyway, so we're just fucking dying laughing, and like I said, I keep hiding my face from the road. But so I'm like, okay, guys. I'm like, everybody shut the fuck up. Like, I'm trying to be so serious. We're like dying laughing. I'm like, shut the fuck up. I'm like, we just have to get home. I'm like, that's our only mission. I'm like, everybody just shut the fuck up. Nothing's funny. Like, it was just like, everyone shut up. We're going to get home. Fucking, obviously we made it, but it was a fucking task. Cause like, it'd be like 2 seconds with no laughing. And then everyone's laughing because like, tell anyone not to laugh. Like, then put them on mushrooms and tell them not to laugh. It's even worse. Like, shit. So I was just like, oh man, like, guys, we just have to get home. And like I said, I kept hiding my face and shit. But that's the fun with mushrooms, though. It's all, and like you said, it's fucking the place and everything, right? You can't. Yeah. I don't know, because I used to think too, like, all right, cool, like, we're gonna drink at your house and then we're gonna go to like your cousins or whatever. Okay, cool. There's a party there. Cool. Like, yeah, all right. Then like, let's eat the mushrooms and then like go there too. And then it's like, well, no, like you don't know half of the people, and you get there, you're like, shit, I shouldn't have done that. Like now I'm just the weird dude standing in the corner. Like, oh no.
Yeah, you start to overthink everything. And, like,
yeah,
everybody knows. Like, that's the worst part about mushrooms. Like I could just like, I'd love to go outside and just like be out. You know, in nature when you're high on mushrooms and like the colors and everything are really vibrant. And like, I remember going for a walk through the park, and I swear to God, like every single person that passed me, I in my head knew exactly. I'm like, oh, like this person knew I was high on mushrooms. And I'm tripping out right now, but they probably had no idea. I was probably just walking through the park, or whatever, you know, just normally. But
my brother always says,
mind, everybody knew.
He's like, I feel like whenever I'm high on mushrooms, he's like, I have to like warn people that I'm high on mushrooms, like a new person, you know, like if you're sitting around with 10 dudes and you eat mushrooms or whatever, they all know you're high on mushrooms. But like if someone else like walks into the room, you have to like, you have like a obligation to tell them that you're high on mushrooms for like, so maybe like, because if they didn't know that, it could be embarrassing for you. You could just look like you're fucked up. So it's saving yourself from embarrassment, but at the same time, it's also helping them understand that they don't have to understand anything you do or say. And anything you do or say could be
just disregarded,
different than like, yeah, you know, like, so it's just like, yeah, I was like, yeah, that's hilarious. He's like, yeah, I feel like obligated to tell people like, oh, by the way, I'm on mushrooms.
Like, yeah, like if you do though, because like it's like any social environment, like, or like situation, like if you're nervous about it, you know what I mean? But you announce that fact. Like if you're not shy enough to be like, yeah, this is, I'm super nervous right now. Or,
yeah.
You know, and you announce that fact, and then like that other person acknowledges, they're like, oh, they're really nervous. You know, like I am too, or whatever. You know, and then it's like the whole sort of atmosphere gets more relaxed.
Yeah.
It's the same with mushrooms, right? If you're like super high and you announce that fact to people that don't know, and you're like, oh, I'm super high on mushrooms, and then you just like, they're like, oh, I get it, okay. And
yeah.
You can sort of relax yourself a bit. Like, okay, they don't think I'm
yeah. Shit. But it is, it would be polite to tell people that, because, well, I guess you're basically telling them, like, you're in the box.
Yeah, you've been placed in the box, whether you know it or not.
Yeah, one of us is in the box. Sorry, just trying to look at the fucking comments.
I'd ask you some trivia questions, but I don't got any.
No? Oh, there's what's going on. The live chat. Oh, don't talk about that. You'll get banned. Oh, wait, what's that? Mushrooms? Oh, speaking of that, actually, I think that's what I was going to say was, well, now that we talk about it, we're going to get fucking banned. But I was watching the Nelk Boys podcast earlier. Shout out Nelk Boys and stuff, whatever. So, they, like I said, they were talking about the mushrooms with Bradley Martin. But there was something else that I fucking noticed on there. They gave a big speech saying, like, so they're actually going to try and put their, like, they have videos on their website that aren't on YouTube, and then they have videos on their website that are like full versions of videos that they put on YouTube, so they have like explicit shit.
Right.
But I'm guessing that they've been getting trouble for what is it? Vaccines or something like that. But like just talking about it and stuff, or pandemics or something. There's a certain word that's like getting it.
Buzzwords.
And they're saying that they're taking people's content down that talk about it, and like I guess they make like bad jokes about it or something. I don't know. He was saying what they're gonna do though is they're gonna try and put most of their shit onto their website now, because like eventually YouTube's gonna censor them so much and all this.
I think YouTube's gonna do that to themselves.
Well, and he was saying too, he's like, man, he's like we're basically stating our fucking opinion. He's like, but when it's not our opinion, he's like, we're just making like crude jokes and shit.
Yeah.
But he's like, they won't let us do that.
We should be allowed, like, this is sort of opening up a topic that I'm like actually like care a lot about, is like people's ability to have an opinion and say things without being like, I think censorship honestly is the dumbest thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. Like, we're all adults. We should be allowed to fucking talk to each other about whatever the fuck we want to talk about. Like, doesn't like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, sure enough, if you're like, if it's adult, like, you know, adult content you're talking about, don't mean like porn or anything like that, and just like, you know, topics, then yeah, maybe kids shouldn't be allowed to hear those conversations or be restricted from that. But like censorship in general, where like you can't say fuck on YouTube, or,
yeah,
you know what I mean, you get demonetized if you say it a certain amount of times.
Earlier today I said the world's not evil, women are evil, and I got a very strict like if you say something wrong in a comment, it'll come up with like a little timer underneath, like a little bar that goes across, and it'll say like, this could go against our guidelines or whatever, and it'll say like undo, like, so you can click undo. I think what it says is it this looks like comments that have been reported or whatever.
Okay.
Like, so then okay, undo, right? But this one I got this big warning that was like, hey, like, you're a piece of shit if you say this comment or whatever, right? Like you can say it, but just so you know, like,
we've warned you, you're
gonna get it. Like, yeah, I was like, what? So then I didn't post it, but I took a screenshot to be like, that's what it was. Like, that's what took them to be like, whoa, we're gonna give you this very stern speech right now. It wasn't just like a like, hey, do you want to undo that maybe? It's like, what you're doing right now is not liked by anyone. You know what I mean? I'm like, well, hey, it's the joke that goes along with the meme that was there. Like,
I don't know. I think people should be like, I think we're gonna see. So Trump just like, he got banned from Twitter, right?
I want to get on his thing.
So he's like just made his social media platform, right? Whether something like that, and I think people should be allowed to express whatever the fuck they want to express. Like, even if it is like, you know, it sounds crazy, but like, whatever it is, the most hateful fucking opinions that you have, then they should be out there open for us to all gauge where you're coming from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're the type of person that's out here saying the most fucking racist or obscene shit, then you should be allowed to say that shit, so that everyone else knows that you're the racist kind of weird piece of shit that we don't need to listen to. Because most people don't have the ability to influence other people's opinions
as
much as they think they do. You know what I mean? So I say let people have their opinions, let people fucking talk about whatever they want and say whatever buzzwords that, like, there was a period of time in YouTube where it really fucking, and it's still pretty bad, but there's a bunch of YouTubers that were like self-censoring themselves, like you know, not saying certain words and making up new words to represent other words so that they didn't get like tagged by this weird algorithm that would demonetize them or put them in a lower like CPM bracket for payments. If they said a certain amount of words or like certain words a certain amount of time.
Say frick a lot. YouTubers I find.
There's a crypto guy that I watch. He says fuck all the time, like constantly. He live streams like thousands of people on his live streams, and he just like talks and he's constantly swearing. But for the longest time, he was like trying to self-censor himself to not say fuck anymore. So he'd do the same thing, like say frick or and yeah, it didn't work for him. He's just like, fuck it, like it's too hard to like do this all the time. I'll just like, because he gets like the super chats and shit like that, so people are constantly paying him to like check out like certain crypto charts or this, that, and the other or whatever. So like he makes his money regardless of whether or not he gets paid from like the viewership. Like they directly pay him through like super chats or whatever. So no matter what, he's making money. So like.
See, I was thinking
he doesn't need to censor himself because he doesn't care about getting demonetized that way. But
even the Nelk Boys, they don't get paid, or they say they don't get paid on their videos and shit because they're swearing and drinking and doing whatever. They make their money elsewhere. But something else too though is the whenever he was talking about that, like how they're gonna go to their site and shit, I was like, yo, I'm like, that would, because I was like, yo, you want to do it on YouTube so you can get like the like stats and shit, right? But you can get like someone that's like Nelk Boys, they can show that they have like what am I getting at, like your visits, right? So people that come to your website, the more people come to your website, the more traffic, whatever, the more money you can make because you can put ads and shit, right? So I was just gonna say somebody like the Nelk Boys who has that big of a following that can be like, hey, come watch our shit on YouTube, or not on YouTube anymore, we're on here, you know? They would have like millions of people there, so then they could sell their advertising for more. But no, my point is that I was like, why wouldn't you stay somewhere where they can like actually like monitor your shit, but this, you can actually make probably more money yourself.
I think you probably could.
Because if you get enough, if you had a website, you say, hey, fucking, I have like 1 million people come here every week or whatever, then fucking start charging for ad space and shit, right? They'd probably just advertise their own shit, but still, I was like, fuck, that's actually smart. Because like I said, I just was like, just thought about it afterwards. I was like, what would be the benefit of running people to your site all the time? But I was like, I guess if you built your site up to be that, right? Exactly. Everyone's going there instead of going to YouTube.
Exactly.
But then you need like, fuck, your server and all that shit or whatever, however it works. Like you need to have like, because they'd have a lot of videos, right? So they'd have to have a lot of fucking.
And so like, there's like the Squarespaces and things like that you can just pay to, like, it's like a template website that you just like say, I want my fucking website to look like this, and there's like different levels of it. So it's like for basic levels, it'll just be like a few pictures.
Well, but even I just mean for the storage of the shit, right? Because like YouTube would have to have like, I don't know if it's servers or not. I don't know the computer shit, but like
they have to store all this information. Like billions and billions of hours of footage, videos, uploaded all the time, right? They got to host that shit somewhere. So
but it costs more, right? I believe.
Right. Exactly. Like, So if you go to somewhere like Squarespace, it just makes websites for you. You pay them the most amount of money for hosting content or whatever, so that you can host like unlimited amounts of
I want to run this much or whatever.
There are servers that host it. You don't have to like have your own or anything.
Okay. Crazy. Well, fuck time are we? 9:53. Well, I think should wrap her up or what? It's about that time.
It's been over an hour. Hour and a half.
That's pretty good for fucking
no guests.
No
show.
Yeah, fuck. And even too, I was struggling for stuff. Like last night, I kind of came to terms with the guests maybe not coming because I haven't heard from them all week. And then, so I was like, maybe I'll like watch a documentary or like watch something or like whatever and like discuss it. And I was like, I don't really want to like, they could just go watch it. But so I was trying to think of like something to do. And then I was like, yo, it's Halloween. We'll tell some Halloween stories. And the funny thing is we didn't really tell Halloween stories, but I do have one funny story real quick that I thought of when I was thinking of Halloween stories, but it's really quick too. But there's like a hill in my town. Hill, I guess, yeah. So it's like a little hill, and there's like little like the road comes here, and then there's like the road comes here. It's whatever. It's like a T intersection, but then there's like a big hill right over the one corner, and there's like a big building there or whatever. And like, anyways, so my buddy was out. I wasn't even there. I shouldn't even tell this story, but my buddy was out with a bunch of people, and they were egging people right on. So actually, it might not have been Halloween. It might have been fucking Devil's Night or whatever, but they're out egging people. So they were standing on top of this hill, and like if you stand back on the hill far enough, no, they can't see you. Like even once they go up past like this way, they can't fucking see you. Like you're like way back far enough, but you can kind of like, you're just looking, you can see them, right? So anyways, the cars would come and you'd see their lights this way, but you couldn't really like see the cars. And then like as they came this way to the other side of the hill, you could see like they're getting up closer and everything, right? So anyway, so you could time it that when the car comes through here, you can't really see the car, you can just see the lights, but then whenever it comes up here, you can see the car, right? So they're like, okay, cool, and they'll time it, like, okay, yeah, we'll like whip it over the hill here, and like, you know, try and catch the car, right? So this car comes along, fucking whip the fucking egg. It's like, doof. So he hears it hit the car, because like where it hits the car is like out of their sight. And then the fucking car comes up the other side of the hill, and it's his dad.
That's funny shit.
So like at the same time too, I tell this story, and like I don't think either he or his dad are watching, but I don't think that they have ever discussed it. Like I don't think his dad, I don't think he ever told his dad about it or anything. Yeah. Like yeah, like I don't think. Yeah.
That's even better.
Shit. But yeah, no. So it just, I was gonna say that just because I did think of, I was trying to think of Halloween stories. There was another time I tripped out on mushrooms on Halloween. There's no story. It's just I did do some mushrooms on Halloween, so it kind of brings everething together.
It's a good time to do mushrooms.
Fucking right. Actually, yeah, it was probably it's the best if you know how to do them. But if you're like
witch's legs sticking out of the ground, and
yeah,
shit,
but
like, what is going on?
If you're not prepared for that, it could be fucked up. But anyways, fucking. I realize I'm fucking really thirsty, and I haven't had a sip of anything in this whole time.
Need some H2O.
I got some water. I got this grape crush. I'm going to have a sip here before we finish up, though. I got to tell everybody what's up. Okay, that was delicious. But I also had the spicy Polynesian pizza downstairs in Milano's. It's delicious. Don't go your life without trying it. Anyways.
Toast pizza?
What?
Was it the toast pizza?
Toast pizza? No, it was, what did I say? Spicy.
No, I know. I'm just
What's
like,
toast?
Yeah, I'm just harkening back to getting made fun of for getting that pizza because it was like so crunchy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I take a bite. He's like, see, it's like toast.
Yeah. Yeah. Because Bully doesn't like eating pizza that's reheated. And I get it, it's crunchy, but I also like the crunch.
Yeah, me too, man.
Yeah.
Gotta have at least a little bit of crunch.
But no, it was delicious though. I had that. And the other thing too is I just want to shout out everybody who voted. Thank you for voting for me in the Dad Bug contest. I got a thing today saying I placed 9th.
9th?
Yeah.
Is that like in the final bracket?
There's the quarterfinals, I guess.
Because you were up
so I feel like,
right?
yeah, so I placed first in my group. And then this last week was like the new group. So I placed 9th. I think if I would have got 8th, I might have fucking made it. Because there were 16 people in my group.
So like cut them in half.
So I think, yeah. And then, so I think if I got 8th, I would have made it. Because then there would be the semis and then like the finals. But I don't know. The other thing too is like they fucking, Bully's one was saying this too. He's like, man, he's like, there's like another thing like that. Like someone else was doing like a fucking... It was like this, like it wasn't the dad bod, but it was like the same type of thing.
Yeah.
And it was like, he said it was like the same, like
format,
like the template or whatever the fuck was all the same. And like that, he was saying in the end, they're like, you had to like fly out to fucking California to do some shit afterwards or whatever. And
there's like some catch at the end of it. Where it's
well,
like,
I don't know about the like if it's a catch, but they like you have to go out there and get it. So like the other thing is I'm not even allowed in the States, so I might not even been able to get it. I don't know.
Well,
but I read a thing.
Imagine you get all that weight.
Well, I read a thing too after like we were talking about it, and I read a thing that said that you have to fly to like St. Louis or some shit. You have to have like your passport, like you're like it's. I was reading through the eligibility or whatever, and it was like you had to have your passport. You had to like go there. They needed like their photographer to take the pictures and shit, and then you had to go to collect the money, I guess, or whatever. But so I might not even been able to do it anyways. But I'd like to thank everybody for voting for me. Anyways, we did make 9th, which is pretty sick. And
top 10, baby.
Fuck yeah. But yeah, no, I want to say thanks for that. Look out for Flock's new album, the release date coming this week. And
Full Extraction.
It's done. Full Extraction, yeah. KG's is on the way. And I think that's pretty much it. Other than that, go check out fucking our Instagram. Subscribe to us. Like and comment and share all the like internet things that people say to you. Yeah. I'd also like to say shout out to Twigs's fucking grandpa. Painted that painting. It's pretty sick.
Oh, I was gonna take it off.
No, it's all good. Yeah, no.
I might have a hard time putting it back up.
But it's funny. I was like, yo, I've seen that before somewhere. He's like, my grandpa painted it. I was like, okay, never mind then. But anyways, yeah. Sorry, I'm just getting off topic. But happy Halloween, everybody. Hopefully your kids scare the shit out of somebody. Hopefully it's you. All right. Anyways, I'm Sal's the Prophet.
And I'm Jonesy.
What are you going to say?
And I'm B-Show.
That's hilarious. Oh, shit. Anyways, we're the Basement Weirdos. This is the 4G Audio Podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for bearing with us without a guest and without a fucking B-Show. Gang. Squad.
Peace.